Hey everybody, KC0VI Tom here, along with Mr. Duke. Mr. Duke got a haircut yesterday, so it was a busy day there at the K9 campus. All the girls were loving him. They just couldn't believe what a sweet dog he is. This thing, he's a horrible monster. You should have seen the pile of black hair on the floor underneath the table. I says, that's all from him. She goes, yeah, he was really thick. So they got him trimmed up. He explains why you're breathing so hard at night. It gets too hot in the bed, Dad. Got some exciting news here. If you have an RFinder, I don't have my RFinder anymore. I gave that to Rob and Ashley after Ashley got her technician's test last July. She was quite happy she got it. I gave it to her. We showed her how to run it. Oh, she just couldn't believe it. And I explained to her, this is kind of clunky. It's, going on. And I'm not going to get into RFinder's history and the sours and troubles they were having with, Bob and the rest of the group down there, due to the fact, A, I don't know what the whole story went on from all the different sizes, and A, and B, I don't want to know. But working with a little bit with this company called Unified Radio, they make the app. Now, stupid me, I just assumed the app was something internal at RFinder. I, never did ask Bob or anybody there, is this part of RFinder? No. Unified Radio is a separate company. They did the software, and Bob and his team did the hardware. They went to some Chinese company, bought the hardware, and had Unified write the app. Well, Bob ran into some money trouble and credit troubles. Unified came to the rescue, floated him a deal. Stuff was not met due to what the contract required, so RFinder is gone. If you hear any rumors or see anything that, new hardware for RFinder is coming out or new versions of the OS, the Android going up to a higher OS level, don't believe them. It's not true. But Unified Radio, they have completed the version of the RFinder app. Well, I can't say completed, they're still working on it. But grab your RFinder, your B1s, your B1 Pluses, some of the tablets, blow them off, charge them up, uninstall the old app, and down in the description, I'll put in the link to get the new version of the Unified app. Also, the profile page. You have to create a small profile on Unified Radio's website. And once you install the new app on your RFinder, you have to do a handshake with the profile page just to get it activated. Very simple. And then hold on to your seats, because that's really what this is doing. Now, ComJot, CJ1s, same deal there. Well, not as bad. Joe down there in New Orleans with his team, I don't know if it's the same Chinese company. I don't know why I say Japanese. Or a different Chinese company. They buy the hardware from somebody over in China. Unified Radios was putting their app on it, tweaking it to that version of Android along with that hardware. They're trying to keep the hardware kind of not really dedicated to what's on the CJ1 or on the RFinders. They'll come up here a little bit. And they're in a little trouble, and they are able to get through that. Right now, Joe is no longer selling any of the hardware. I think that was put on pause. Again, I don't know the whole story from both sides, and I don't want to know the whole story, so we'll just say you can't buy a new CJ1 now. I keep asking Joe, when are you going to get a drop-in charger? He always tries to sell me a hand mic or an earpiece. I said, I don't want that. I want to be able to drop this in. He goes, well, use the USB seat. I go, yeah, I don't like that. But again, uninstall your old Unified app off your CJ1, go to the website, download the new one, and hold on. They're doing a lot of neat things with it. It is more based on the Android operating system. First thing I noticed was the print, the text, the font was too small. And I was reading through the Unified Web Facebook page. Again, join that. There's a lot of good information there. Somebody was having the same problem, and one of the software person says, well, just go down the Android settings and increase the type font. And it worked. I mean, it was just, wow. So, they're trying to get the app more streamlined into the Android operating system. So if you do a change in that operating system, that should change all the apps that are written correctly, for font size, for notification sounds and stuff like that. That's one thing I don't like about this new app. The old version, I had took the the notification for connections and disconnections on DMR over IP, change that. I just recorded something in a WAV file and made it into an MP3 and put it in the radio. So when it connected, it was me saying connected. Or if it disconnected, it would say disconnected. Well, this new one, it's a bing or a bong. I can't remember. That's why I like to have more of a voice prompt. Trying to remember what dings and dongs are doesn't work up here. So here we got the RFinders are back online, and you go to the Unified Facebook page and you listen and read some of the stories from these old RF owners. The radio's been in the closet for 2 to 3 years. I was going to use it for kindling for fire, and they put the app on. The thing is burning great. CJ1 owners, again, it's just operating unbelievable good. It's DMR is great. It sounds better. Reports are saying my audio on DMR is better on the ROIP. Yeah, they got it. Let's put it that way, and they're always improving on it. I was on the page one day, I was just kind of nosing around looking at stuff, and one of the software techs says, "Yeah, tonight, in 2 days we're going to be launching a new version of the software. Any last minute add-ons?" And I just happened to say, "Yeah, DTMF pad would be great." Because on some repeater controllers, by sending tones, you can change stuff on the repeater. Echolink, if you know the serial or the number of a repeater, and you have a DTMF pad, you can put that number in, and it'll actually connect you through the internet to that repeater. That revision update had a DTMF pad in it. They're listening to the people us users. And they're adding, if they can, they're adding these features into it. So again, dust off your old radios, get on to Unified's page, create your little profile page, join their Facebook page, download that app from the device. That's the big deal. And enjoy. And if you have problems, go to that Facebook page and start running through it. Some of you don't know it, but this is the 6th CJ1 I've had. I'll be working with Joe and Unified, come up with a problem, and I hate it when I found out that they are 2 separate entities. Like I told the tech from Unified, if I would have known that, I would have never bought this radio. And he goes, "Why?" I says, "I've been under in certain situations, too many for my taste, where you're working with 2 different companies with a problem, and the first thing they go is, it's the other guy's problem. It's not our problem." I had that at the college I was working with. We had some equipment in an AV equipment in a room, and it wasn't performing like it was supposed to. And they kept telling us, "No, it's not our problem. It's the other vendor." And I was able to get both vendors into the room one day at the same time, show them what was going on. And it was like, "Oh, you're right. It is our problem. It's not their problem." So I didn't gloat or anything like that. I said, "Come on, fix it now." And if you do run into problems, go to that Facebook page and start going through. Because you're not alone. Other people are having the same problem, and it's just usually something minor. One that I stumbled upon a while ago, that's why this is number 6. I think I had 4 radios that did this. Unified says, "It's not our problem. You're going to have to get a hold of Joe." And Joe says, "Send it in, we'll look at it." And he just around sent me a replacement, which is fine, but sometimes it takes 1 to 2 weeks. One time it took over a month for me to get the replacement radio, and within a week, that thing was doing the same thing. And I got tired. I actually have a video I made up, and I was actually uploading it when I got a call from Unified, and they walked me through, and we got going on the right track. So I had to kill the upload of "Don't buy this radio." That video has been trashed. But the guy that Unified Radios got me pointing in the right direction, and after the call, I was doing a deep dive in the settings on this thing and came across what was going on when you install the Unified app. You get some questions for permissions. Can we send you notification? Can we use GPS? Can we record audio? Can we, stuff like that. And I was going through going, yes, no, no, yes, no, no. And the Unified tech says, no, don't do that. Say yes to everything. Then later on you can go back and, pull down some of your changes on the permission site. And I thought, okay. And what we found out is that would set that switch on the software not to record audio. When I would uninstall the app, it would not reset those switches. So I went to put the new app on. It saw that switch set for no audio recordable. So that took it, says no audio at all. So that's why I was getting when I could transmit or use DMR or ROIP, DMR. No audio, good clean carrier. On the RS side, it was sending the PL tone to open up the repeater, but nothing was going out. And as a tech, and you work with other techs, after you get that little trust made up, the trust factor, as I call it, we start hammering each other, just kind of picking on each other. It's, it's just a brotherhood deal. And when we started on this no audio problem, he said, it's probably something you did. I said, I don't think it's something I did. The only thing I did was that you told me to do was uninstall the old app and install the new app. As we were going down, we came across what we found out, and they verified in some of the software on their end that when uninstalling the app, it was not resetting all those switches. He goes, see, it was your fault, Crowley. So we had a good chuckle out of that. But the one thing you're going to have fun with, the techs there at Unified Radio are fantastic to work with. Really enjoy it. Now, what's going to happen? They are continuing doing upgrades on the app. So I think I had like 3 this week alone. You get up in the morning, look at the radio, and it says, need to upgrade, the Unified app for it to continue. So you go ahead and do it. One of the times I was on the phone, the techs really got into what was going on with them and RFinder, and I kept telling them, stop talking. I don't want to know. I don't need to know. I just want my radio fixed. And then it was, well, don't tell anybody about this. Then, on the ComJot CJ1 side, same deal there. Some of the problems they're having, not mainly with Joe, but mainly with the Chinese company, things they weren't going to let them know about hardware side, what the software needed to be able to interface with. And I kept saying, I don't need to know this. I don't need this. And then they started going into the product line. And so I've been just biting at the bit to be able to tell somebody. And last week on the Unified Facebook page, they were talking about what they're going to do once they get all the bugs worked out with the RFinders and the CJ1s. Unified Corporation is releasing their own hardware. Right now, if you go to the ComJot page, you can't buy a CJ1. It tells you click here to purchase, and you get, last time I was there, I think I got a 404 error. It's just that website you land on is not there anymore. And what I really want and need is a drop-in charger. Each time I was on the phone with Joe, I said, when are you going to start selling the chargers? He goes, well, just use the USB-C. I don't like doing that. The USB-C is being abused by all the manufacturers. It's being really abused by the computer people. They're using it not only to charge, send data, send video, send audio. It's handy. You have one cable you plug in, recharges the laptop, and it runs your keyboard, mouse, monitor, your speakers. But it's not made to be plugged in and unplugged repetitively. At the college, we were having instructors who maybe cycling that plug 6 times, 6 times being plugged in, 6 times being unplugged. They get to work, they plug it in, they go to class, they unplug it, they get to the classroom, they plug it in, they leave the classroom, they unplug it, get back to the office, they plug it in. After lunch, they unplug it, go to another classroom, plug it in, do the class, unplug that, take it back to the office, plug it in. Time to go home, they unplug it, take it home, plug it in at home. That connection is not made for that type of abuse, that number of cycles. Electrical-wise, it works fine, but hardware size it was not. And we're seeing a lot of laptops that the USB-C connection just gave up the ghost. It was just worn out. So like I said, dust off, charge up your old radio, get on Unified, make a profile if you don't have one, join their Facebook page, on the device, go to their website, download the version of Unified app for your device, CJ1 or RFinder. There's a little bit difference between the two, and what they're trying to do is get a workaround or work on the latest version. It doesn't matter what version of Android you have, it'll work on it. And then if you install it, do the handshake on the website. If you have any problems or you want to put information on there, go ahead and do it on the Facebook page. And always check into that profile page for any new announcements or any changes that's coming down the line. In that profile page, there are some features you have to subscribe to. It's $10 a month or $100 a year. I'd recommend go ahead and do it. Even if it's 1 or 2 months at $10, you get like 2 months just so you get everything up and going. It makes it working with the radio easier. It gives you some features. You don't need it to run the radio. If you know, and if you just can't afford $100 right now to the shape of the economy, yeah, I know what that's like. Trust me, I've gone through hard times in my life, and I've skipped meals to make sure the kids have meals on their table, but we won't go into there. I could afford to miss a few meals now anyway. But that money goes to Unified to help pay the salaries of the software people, pay for the hardware of the servers, and getting that server up in the cloud. Even though it's software in the cloud, it still costs money. The money is not going to Joe. It's not going to Bob. It's not going any place like that. So on that, let me know what you come up with. Does your device work? What features do you like to see? Any features that you would like to see added, go over to the Unified Facebook page and put them in there also, because these guys want to know what's going on. How are the users are using the radio? What do they think about it? I wish, it probably will never happen, because I don't know if you remember at Hamvention, that year this was announced, Joe was stating that this will do DMR over IP, which it does. They were talking about, he said they'll do D-Star eventually. Then it will also do C4FM, Yaesu Fusion, and App 25, the digital protocol, which is available for us text to use, our ham people to use. And if that's going to happen, it'd be great. You would have one nice little handheld radio that would be easily operate on any repeater out there. Standard RF, the Fusion, D-Star, APCO 25, DMR over IP. That would be a real powerful, nice little radio. You imagine what they do if they put this in a mobile? That did come up one time on the Facebook page about when they're going to roll out a mobile, and thinking back, the base of this thing is a cell phone radio. It's like, why do you need a mobile phone in your car? That kind of had flashbacks to the 1980s, but on that, as you can tell, I'm happy. 7-3, everybody. Take care. Be sure to tell your friends, neighbors, other hams. Subscribe, hit that bell to get notification when new videos come up. Add comments below. 7-3, everybody.